When you wake up in the morning, you have two choices. One is to go back to bed and dream. The other is to wake up and make your dreams come true. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished dignitaries. On behalf of Mr. Sayyam Mehra, Chairman, the All India Gems and Jewellery Domestic Council or GJC, and Mr. Ravi Prakash Agarwal, Convener, Gems and Jewellery Banking Summit, welcome to this Power-Packed Summit, presented by the World Gold Council, powered by Srikunj Kolkata, and supported by Bangalore Refinery, Mukti Gold and Diamonds, Yes Bank, and Lakshmi Diamonds, Bengaluru. Over the course of this exciting Gems and Jewellery Banking Summit, a galaxy of luminaries from the gems and jewellery industry and the banking and finance industry will discuss, deliberate, and debate on various critical aspects where we can cooperate and collaborate in a strong synergy that will fuel the growth narrative and drive the plot for a success story that both the gems and jewellery industry and the banking and finance industry will jointly script and co-author as partners in progress. This Gems and Jewellery Banking Summit will feature some of the most brilliant and renowned thought leaders and experts, all accomplished speakers who will share with us their vast reservoirs of knowledge, experience, and expertise in a power-packed summit that is guaranteed to engage, excite, and energize each of you. Our gratitude to our presenting partner, the World Gold Council, powered by Srikunj Kolkata, our supporting partners, Bangalore Refinery, Mukti Gold and Diamonds, Yes Bank, and Lakshmi Diamonds. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Gems and Jewellery Banking Summit, an initiative of the All India Gems and Jewellery Domestic Council. Let us now light the ceremonial lamp, signifying the knowledge and enlightenment that we shall share over the course of the summit. And to do the honors, I'd like to invite Mr. Sayyam Mehra, GJC Chairman, Mr. Rajesh Rohde, Vice Chairman of the GJC, Mr. Ravi Prakash Agarwal, Convener Banking Summit, Mr. Sunny Dholakia, Joint Convener Banking Summit, Mr. Sachin Jain, Regional Chief Executive Officer, India World Gold Council, all our past Chairmen of the Gems and Jewellery Council who are here with us today, all our COA members, please do join us, Mr. Mitesh Dhorda, Secretary GJC, and of course, Ms. Manisha Gupta, Commodities Editor, CNBC. Can we have all of you join in the lighting of this lamp? Mr. Sumesh Vadera, sir, we'll get someone else to take that picture for you.
गणनायकाय गणदैवताय गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि गानचतुराय गानप्राणाय गानान्तरात्मने गानोत्सुकाय गानमत्ताय गानोत्सुकमनसे गुरुपूजिताय गुरुदैवताय गुरुकुलस्थायिने गुरुविक्रमाय गुह्यप्रवराय गुरवे गुणगुरवे गुरुदैत्यकलक्षेत्रे गुरुधर्मसताराध्याय गणनायकाय गणदैवताय गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय
Thank you, Ms. Manisha
श्रीगणेशाय
Gupta.
धीमहि
Gentlemen, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to invite on stage Mr. Sayam Mehra, Chairman GGC, Mr. Rajesh Rokde, Vice Chairman GGC, Mr. Ravi Prakash Agarwal, Convener and COA Member GGC and Convener of the Banking Summit, Mr. Sunny Dolakia, Joint Convener of the Banking Summit, Mr. Sachin Jain, Regional Chief Executive Officer, India World Gold Council. Ladies and gentlemen, every organization is led by people of courage, wisdom, and vision. The GGC is no exception. And our current chairman, we have a person who embodies all these qualities and more. I'd now like to invite Mr. Sayam Mehra, Chairman All India Gems and Jewelry Domestic Council, or GGC, to welcome us to this wonderful experience.
Hugo, right? Yes. Thank you, Hugo. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of All India Gem and Jewelry Domestic Council, I would like to welcome members of the banking community, members of our gem and jewelry industry, members from public and private sector, industry dignitaries, members of GGC board, the convener, Mr. Ravi Prakash ji, joint convener, Mr. Sunny Dolakia ji, and all GGC members present today. I would also like to welcome our media, most importantly our sponsors, title partner World Gold Council, powered by partner Sri Kunj AI, and supporting partners Bangalore Refinery, Mukti Gold, Lakshmi Diamonds, and Yes Bank. Friends, it's an honor to address such a distinguished gathering at this first very banking summit of GGC. As we convene today, we stand at the crossroads of opportunity and innovation in one of India's most important sectors, which has a legacy of over 5,000 years and is one of the world's highest consumers of gold. The gem and jewelry industry in India has long been celebrated for its rich heritage, exquisite craftsmanship, and global prominence. From the bustling streets of every city, towns, and village of the country to the polished showrooms of big metros, every person, every jeweler, every artisan represents every facet of this industry that reflects on the cultural tapestry and economic dynamism of our great nation. Today, we are witnessing a transformative era for this sector, one marked by technological advancements, evolving consumer preferences, and an increasingly interconnected global market space. It is against this backdrop that the role of the banking sector emerges as pivotal. For the financial institutions, we are not merely stakeholders, we are enablers of progress and partners in prosperity. Our role extends beyond the traditional realms of loans and investment to embrace innovation, sustainability, and inclusive growth. India's gem and jewelry industry holds a significant position in the Indian economy. The industry was valued at rupees 5.63 trillion in 2020 and has reached rupees 6.64 trillion by 2023, with the growth demanding at a CAGR of 5.6% until 2023. India's gold and diamond trade contribute to around 7% to India's gross domestic product, GDP, employing approximately 5 million people. The Indian gem and jewelry industry is expected to grow at a compound annual growth rate, CAGR, of 9.3% from 2020 to 2025, which is a very good deal, reaching a value of US 1.3 billion by 2025, driven by factors such as rising disposable income, increasing urbanization, growing fashion consciousness, rising demand for branded and customized products, and favorable government policies. Recognizing its potential for growth and value addition, the government has declared the gem and jewelry sector as a focus area and introduced two suitable policies: hallmarking for accuracy, determination, and the gold monetization scheme, which enables individuals to deposit gold with banks and earn interest. However, industry has constrained credit availability for the gem and jewelry industry. Due to the perceived lack of transparency in the industry, bankers are reluctant to finance gem and jewelry businesses to a large extent. The industry is facing challenges such as higher interest rates on business loans, lack of transparency on banking policy, and limited access to bank loans. Infusion of more funds into gem and jewelry industry has become a matter of prime concern, as banks have categorized the sector as high risk, leading to a drop in loan takeoff. The government has implemented measures to encourage investment and enhance technology and skill to promote brand India in the global market. They have allowed 100% foreign direct investment FDI in the sector through the automatic route, with the goal of achieving a $100 billion industry by 2027. $100 billion industry by 2027. However, the gem and jewelry sector is facing challenges in accessing comprehensive information, which is hindering the industry growth. Therefore, it is crucial to address the dissemination of information, and banks are urged to support in providing information to the gem and jewelry sector, as many of them fall under the category of micro, small and medium enterprise, MSME. Like other industries, gem and jewelry is also transforming. Therefore, the gem and jewelry industry is requesting all bankers to treat the industry like others and keep the interest rate from 8 to 9% with a rate spread of 1%. Additionally, the industry is seeking easier policies and facilitation for EMI based buying facilities for end consumers. Babluda, my friend here, has been telling this since yesterday. We need EMI in the end retail, in the end consumers. So this is an important point which we are pushing with the government and also with the banks. Credit card, swiping, interest rates, and EDC POS machine implementation in every retail showroom. At this summit, we must delve into the critical imperatives that define the future trajectory of the gem and jewelry industry. We must explore avenues for enhancing access to finance, fostering entrepreneurship, and catalyzing digital transformation, and finding ways to improve credit ratings of jeweler community. Access to finance remains a cornerstone for the growth of any industry, and the gem and jewelry sector is no exception to it. It is incumbent upon our valued bankers to design tailored financial products and services that meet the unique needs of industry stakeholders. From artisans, craftsmen to large-scale exporters. Moreover, we must leverage the power of technology to drive efficiency, transparency, and resilience across the value chain. Whether it's adopting AI for predictive analysis or harnessing fintech solutions for supply chain finance, the opportunity are boundless. The banking sector has significant opportunity as the retail jewelry market is experiencing rapid growth. We are looking at more than 3,000 showrooms opening in the next year and a half. In the year 22, the organized retail jewelry market held a 32 to 35% share with the market size of 1500 to 1600 billion rupees and is expected to increase 40% by 2024. This industry is not only provides sales profit but also benefits from price increase of gold. Gold prices rarely decrease, so the increased price profit is also shared with our dear bankers. Furthermore, the domestic gem and jewelry sector has a unique modus operandi requiring proper KYC of the end consumer, creating a database for more transparency in this sector. Therefore, I have a positive expectations from the bankers and anticipate industry improvements through intellectual upgrades. The banking seminar will provide the platform to share all the necessary information with our peers and bankers to take the industry to the next level. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Maharashtra.
Thank you very much, and a warm round of applause for Mr. Sayam Mehra for that warm and cordial welcome, for that wonderful overview of our industry, for sharing our various concerns, and for so beautifully setting the tone for this entire Gems and Jewelry Banking Summit. I'd now like to request Mr. Rajesh Rokde, Vice Chairman GJC, to share his thoughts with us. Mr. Rajesh Rokde.
Yeah, thank you. सभी को गुड मॉर्निंग। जैसे कि आप सभी जानते हैं, ऑल इंडिया जेम्स एंड ज्वेलरी डोमेस्टिक काउंसिल 3 मूल धर्मों पे काम करता है: प्रोटेक्टिंग, प्रोग्रेसिंग और प्रमोटिंग। ये शायद उसी का एक हिस्सा है बैंकिंग, क्योंकि लोग बैंक को केवल पैसे जमा करने के दृष्टि से देखते थे पहले। आज भी कई लोगों का ऐसा लगता है, बहुत सारे हमारी इंडस्ट्री में ऐसे लोग हैं जो बैंक में सिर्फ पैसा रखने का और पैसे से आरटीजीएस करना, वही एक सोच लेके ही बैंक को यूज़ करते हैं। तो बैंक का क्या क्या उपयोग हो सकता है, बैंक किस तरीके से हमारे बिजनेस को एक बेस्ट लेवल पे ले जा सकता है, उसका एक मंथन समझिए या समिट के माध्यम से आप सबको बताया जाएगा कि किस तरीके से हम हमारे बिजनेस को एक बेस्ट से बेस्ट तरीके से ऊपर ले जा सकते हैं। ऑल इंडिया जेम्स एंड ज्वेलरी डोमेस्टिक काउंसिल नो डाउट 19 ईयर्स से 19 साल से हम लोग काम कर रहे हैं, और शायद अब बाल्यावस्था से अब ये पूरी तरह से एक यंग ऐसी संस्था बन चुकी है कि इसे एपेक्स बॉडी का जिम्मा मिला। आज 3000 से ज़्यादा मेंबर्स आज हमारे पास है, 250 से ज़्यादा एसोसिएशन, 65,000 से ज़्यादा उनके लोग इनडायरेक्टली डायरेक्टली हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं। ये इंडस्ट्री केवल होलसेलर्स के लिए काम नहीं करती, केवल मैन्युफैक्चरर्स के लिए काम नहीं करती, तो ये पूरी रिटेल बॉडी तक के काम करती है। मतलब स्टार्टिंग से लेके तो एंड पॉइंट तक के। फिर वो अलग अलग तरीके से हमने हाल ही में लकी लक्ष्मी जैसा काम, लकी लक्ष्मी जैसी योजना लाई थी जिससे कि सेल बूस्ट हो, व्यापार बढ़े। तो ये 360 डिग्री काम करती है। सिर्फ एग्जीबिशंस करना यही इसका दायित्व नहीं है, और यही हम लोग करते नहीं है। इसके अलावा अलग अलग तरीके से हम लोग काम करते हैं, उसी का एक हिस्सा आज बैंकिंग समिट है। जब नेशन की बात आती है तो एक सरकार के बीच में एक ब्रिज की तरह काम करते हैं। इसके पहले एक्साइज ड्यूटी हो, हमारे पहले के जितने भी चेयरमैन, वाइस चेयरमैन, जितने भी हमारी गवर्निंग बॉडी थी, उन सभी ने इतना बेहतरीन काम किया है कि शायद मुझे आज प्राउड फील होता है कि मैं इस संस्था का वाइस चेयरमैन हूँ। और शायद ये अगर हुआ है तो केवल और केवल आप सबके भरोसे से। फिर वो एक्साइज ड्यूटी हो, जीएसटी हो, पीएमएलए हो, हॉलमार्किंग हो, एक की रोल अगर किसी ने निभाया है तो वो ऑल इंडिया जेम्स एंड ज्वेलरी डोमेस्टिक काउंसिल। बैंकिंग समिट नो डाउट यहाँ से जब हम लोग जाएंगे 100% इतना नॉलेज हमें मिलने वाला है कि एक नया कॉन्फिडेंस के साथ साथ हम लोग एक नई उड़ान भरने वाले हैं। ये वैसे हमारे इतिहास में सेकंड टाइम हो रहा है, बट मुझे लगता है कि ये एक नया कीर्तिमान स्थापित करने वाला है। आज इस प्रोग्राम में सभी तरीके के पैनलिस्ट हैं, मैं उन सभी का धन्यवाद भी दूंगा कि उन्होंने यहाँ आने की इच्छा जताई और आज हमारे बीच में वो पार्ट बने। सभी स्पॉन्सरर, मैं उनका भी बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया करता हूँ। और नो डाउट ये बैंकिंग समिट का सेकंड एडिशन है, लेकिन ये ऑल ओवर इंडिया में होना चाहिए, ऐसा मैं आगे सोच रखता हूँ। और विशेष तौर पे मैं रवि प्रकाश जी को धन्यवाद दूंगा, क्योंकि उनका नाम रवि और प्रकाश मतलब सूर्य और प्रकाश दोनों उनके साथ है, तो ऐसे व्यक्ति ने इस चीज़ का जिम्मा लिया है, तो ये जिम्मा जिस तरीके से वो कर रहे हैं उसके लिए बहुत बधाई के पात्र है। और नो डाउट कंधे से कंधा मिलाकर सन्नी ढोलकिया ने, जो ऑलवेज पर्दे के पीछे रह के उन्होंने काम किया, वो भी काफ़ी सराहनीय है और शायद उसी की वजह से हम लोग आज यहाँ एकत्रित होकर यहाँ बैठे हैं। मैं केवल ज़्यादा, चेयरमैन ने ऑलरेडी सब बातें बता दी और शायद जितना संक्षिप्त में हम लोग बात को रख के हमारी बात को ख़त्म करें उतना ज़्यादा बेहतर होगा, क्योंकि अब मैं जानता हूं कि आप सभी लोग आज के इस बैंकिंग समिट में आए हैं। मैं केवल ये 4 लाइनें बोल के मेरे बातों को यहीं रोकूंगा, क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं नींव बहुत ज़्यादा मजबूत होना ज़रूरी होती है, और अगर हमारी नींव मजबूत हो गई तो नो डाउट इमारत बुलंद होती है। और इसीलिए मैं कहता हूं कि जिस तरीके से इमारत में पाया बड़ी चीज़ है, इमारत में पाया बड़ी चीज़ है, व्यापार में माया बड़ी चीज़ है। इमारत में पाया बड़ी चीज़ है, व्यापार में माया बड़ी चीज़ है। आए ऊपर वाले सही सलामत रखा मेरे सभी बैंकिंग पार्टनर्स को, क्योंकि इनका साया हमारी इंडस्ट्री पे बड़ी चीज़ है। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you very much, Mr. Rajesh Rokde, for so beautifully putting the entire crux of the summit in those few words. Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to invite a person who has taken and shouldered the responsibility of making this Gems and Jewelry Banking Summit a reality. I'd like to invite Mr. Ravi Prakash Agarwal, convener, Gem and Jewelry Banking Summit and member of the CAE, to address us. Mr. Ravi Prakash Agarwal.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Banking Committee, I extend a very warm welcome to all the dignitaries present today, where we have gathered to deliberate on the major role of the banking sector in shaping the future of the gem and jewelry industry. Today, we stand at a critical junction where getting timely capital is paramount in driving growth and resilience in the dynamic sector. Our agenda for today's summit is wide, covering a number of topics that are critical to the industry's evolution and prosperity. From the sustainable financing to risk management mechanism, and from banking innovations to building financial resilience, each them is extremely important for our member and will help in their business going ahead. Strength of gem and jewelry industry. Despite the challenges posed by global economic wars and our own government's policy changes, the gem and jewelry industry stands strong due to rich heritage, skilled workforce, and entrepreneurship spirit. With India's strength in gemstone cutting, jewelry manufacturing, and export competitiveness, the industry is poised for exponential growth in the years to come. Sustainable financing in gem and jewelry industry. The gem and jewelry industry, with its long supply chain and multiple stockholders, presents unique opportunity and challenges for sustainable financing. We request our bankers to channel their resources towards banking that promotes the jewelry industry. We also request our industry brothers and sisters for better understanding of financial tools in the jewelry sector. In this session, we are especially focusing on industry preparedness to get the bank loan, role of documentation to ease the banking financing, benefit of GML, and balancing the risk in a changing environment. Banking strategy in energizing and power. Today we have with us the renowned architects of banking strategy. We request for all bankers to play a pivotal role in energizing and empowering the gem and jewelry industry by providing facilities and relaxations in loan. Bank can unlock new growth opportunities in the jewelry sector. Whether it is extending credit to MSME for technology adoption or supporting women entrepreneurs in the sector, we can drive inclusive and sustainable development, propelling the industry towards new height of excellences. Risk management mechanism. Risk management lies at the heart of the banking operations, particularly in the sector as tough as gem and jewelry. From credit risk to market risk and from operational risk to compliance risk, your ability to identify, assess, and reduce risk is paramount in safeguarding the stability and strength of the industry. By deploying robust risk management framework, we jewelers can manage uncertainties with confidence and also take benefit of various schemes available at banks' disposal. Today, we will deep dive into all these topics and explore a mutually beneficial route for bankers and jewelers, and also aim to contribute significantly to nation development. Together with the unwavering support from the bank sector, we can overcome challenges, seize opportunities, and chart a course towards a brighter future for generations to come. Thanking you all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ravi Prakash Agarwal, for expressing our concerns, for giving us an overview of the entire summit and what we can expect during the course of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a wonderful presenting partner in the World Gold Council, and we'd like to take a look at this audio visual before I invite Mr. Sachin Dain to speak. World Gold Council, AV.
सुनने में एकदम सख्त, पर सोचो तो मजेदार है। बोलने में उसूल आसान, सरल उसका उच्चार है, पर समझ तभी पाएगा घर चलेगा कोई अकेला 4 कदम उसूलों पे। जो उसूलों पे चल सका उसके जीवन में दिशा है। उसूलों में कठिनता है, कई बार उसूलों पे चलने वाले को मिलती कई चुनौतियां हैं। नामुमकिन तो नहीं, पर काफी मुश्किल है उसूलों पे अकेले चलना। सिर्फ उसूल भी अकेले कहां कुछ कर पाते हैं, साथ तो उन्हें भी चाहिए उसूलों पे चलने वालों का। उसूलों पे अगर सब साथ चलें तो उसूल नहीं, उससे कई ज्यादा है। साथ चलें तो उसूल परंपरा है, संस्कृति है, सामाजिक संपत्ति है, जिस पे निर्भर हो सकती है आने वाली कई पीढ़ियां। कीमत भले उतनी ही चुकानी पड़े उसूलों की, पर साथ चलें तो उसूल पूरा पैसा वसूल है। साथ चलें जो उसूलों पे, उनके जीवन में सफलता है। उसूलों पे साथ चलना मेरा, तुम्हारा, हम सबका इसी में फायदा है। स्वर्ण आदर्श अभियान एक औद्योगिक पहल।
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the World Gold Council. It's now my privilege and pleasure to invite Mr. Sachin Jain, Regional Chief Executive Officer, India, World Gold Council, our title partners to the Gems and Jewelry Banking Summit, to share his thoughts with us. Mr. Sachin Jain.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to all of you in this very important, and I underline the fact, very important platform that we are all gathered today. To begin with, my heartiest congratulations to the entire leadership of this amazing organization. Sanyam is here, Rajesh Bhai is here, all the past chairmen are here who've been leaders and mentors to this industry. And very importantly, shaping what we call is a very important part of the future. Mr. Ravi Prakash, I met him in the morning, and that makes it two of us from Meerut. So it's a representation of all India here, where he and I both are from Meerut, and he's my father's old friend. So it was a great start for me today when I met him. But I think getting back to the subject, what you just saw, I think it's important start for this conversation today. हम लोग सब आज यहाँ पे हैं, हमने एक विजन देखा है, विकसित भारत, जो हमारे प्रधानमंत्री ने आगे रखा है हमारे सामने. 2047 में हमारी इकॉनमी $35 ट्रिलियन की होगी, और यहाँ बैंकर्स हैं, एंड दे नो व्हाट दैट रियली मीन्स फ्रॉम वेयर वी आर टुडे एज इकॉनमी. और ये जो एक पाथ है, इट्स अ वेरी एम्बिशियस पार्ट. वी ऑल हैव टू प्ले अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल, लेकिन उसको हम तभी अचीव कर पाएंगे जिसमें एक रेगुलेटर साथ चले. अभी हम लोग कहते हैं रेगुलेटर इज परहैप्स नॉट द राइट थिंग, और हमारे पे बहुत स्ट्रिक्ट हैं. ऑल दोज थिंग्स आर रियलिटी, बट वी विल ओनली बिकम relevant and important and big if we go together. And I think banking as a sector is the most important catalyst for our industry to get to even close to the numbers Sanyam mentioned. और इन्होंने जब वो इतने ट्रिलियन रुपीस बोले तो उसमें कितने जीरो लगते हैं, आई वाज जस्ट इमेजिनिंग इट्स अ लॉन्ग नंबर्स. हम कहने में वो लगते हैं कि भाई इट्स अ 10% CAGR जो आपने मेंशन किया, but it's not small, and what is ambition lying ahead of us is even more important and big, and this can only happen with a conversation and a dialogue between the industries. And I think again back to congratulating you that you've generally got the dialogue opened, and I'm not saying that by the end of today we'll solve everything, but this conversation will bring सामने जो ऐसे हमारे important मुद्दे हैं and things that can spur up, and यहाँ पे I would really encourage सब लोग अपनी openly बात करें और एक genuinely इसका यूज़ कर पाएँ. ये प्लेटफॉर्म है. आपने देखा यहाँ पे my two colleagues are here, Rakhi and Ajit. Ajit is leading a very important project जो हम लोग उसको बोल रहे हैं SRO, सेल्फ रेगुलेटरी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. मैं 1 मिनट उसके लिए बोलना चाहूँगा. हर इंडस्ट्री में एक वैलिडिटी एक सरकार की, रेगुलेटर की और एक इंडस्ट्री होती है. उसके बीच में बिटवीन द इंडस्ट्री एंड द रेगुलेटर हर इंपॉर्टेंट इंडस्ट्री में एक सेल्फ रेगुलेटरी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन होती है. और हमारे ऐसी इंडस्ट्री में ऐसा एक देयर इज़ नो हिस्ट्री ऑफ दिस, नॉट इन इंडिया, नॉट इन द वर्ल्ड. और हमारा एक अटेम्प्ट है आपके ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के साथ, पूरी इंडस्ट्री के साथ, कि हम एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट ये स्टेप ले पाएँ. कल हमारी पूरी लीडरशिप के साथ एक मीटिंग हुई थी. द इंटेंशन इज़ टू मेक द फर्स्ट स्टेप इन वेरी अर्ली इन ऑगस्ट, वेयर वी कैन क्रिएट समथिंग एज अ वेरी क्रेडिबल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन represented by the industry, where certain code of conducts are standardized, in the sense कि हम अपना हाथ अपने दिल पे रख के बोल पाएँ कि हम अपना काम एक certain standards, practices, rules, regulations से करते हैं, जिससे कि जो हमारे catalyst हैं, which are our banking partners, can look at our industry in a slightly different manner. और ये जो फंडामेंटली चीज़ें हैं, दिस इज़ व्हाट द रोल ऑफ वर्ल्ड गोल्ड काउंसिल विल बी. एक तो हमारा है कि ऑफकोर्स डिमांड कैसे बढ़े, इमीडिएट इन लॉन्ग टर्म, बट वी बिलीव that fundamentally if we don't address these core issues, then perhaps these destination कि हम यहाँ से यहाँ जाएंगे और इतने ग्रोथ नंबर्स होंगे, वो कुछ बहुत लिमिटेड कंपनीज के पास वो अपॉर्चुनिटी रहेगी. और जो इस संस्था का एक बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट मुद्दा रहा है कि हर ज्वेलर, हर पार्ट, पूरा वैल्यू चेन इस इंडस्ट्री की, नॉट के सिर्फ जिसे हम बोलते हैं बिग बॉयज़ क्लब या बड़े लोग हैं, बड़े लोग आर इंस्पिरेशन, बट छोटा रिटेलर, रीजनल रिटेलर, आपने मेरे को बताया था कितने आप ज़िलों में, कितने पिन कोड्स में आप लोग की रीच है, विच इज़ मैग्निफिसेंट. तो ये मूवमेंट है इंडिया को ऊपर लेके जाने का, और एज वर्ल्ड गोल्ड काउंसिल वील बी राइट बिहाइंड यू. वी वॉन्ट टू चेंज दिस इंडस्ट्री, नॉट बिकॉज ऑफ के बीच हमें चेंज करना है, बिकॉज देयर इज एन अपॉर्चुनिटी. ऐसी अपॉर्चुनिटी हमारे भारत के सामने जो है वो किसी देश के सामने नहीं है. हम लोग कलेक्टिवली आगे बढ़ेंगे, ओपनली बढ़ेंगे विद द पर्सपेक्टिव दैट वी आर ओपन टू चेंज, तभी हम इसके बिल्कुल पास भी पहुंच पाएंगे. So with these few words, I really hope that today's very important platform, which you've all initiated, really comes to a point where we make it more regularly. जैसे आपने बोला सर कि आप और जगह लेके जाना चाहते हैं राजेश भाई, I think it's a very important thing, because the importance of this relationship of a regulator, of a banker, of our industry has to become very open. Some leaders have all, acknowledged this long time back, but as an industry, we need to, really make it a way of life. We have to make those changes. आज हम लोग सारे prominent bankers हैं, we love to hear what would the immediate things that they like us to change. And I'm sure बहुत बड़ी बातें भी होंगी, large scale. But अगर आप as अपने द्वारा कुछ ऐसी small सरल चीजें बता पाएं, जो as a community हम change कर पाएं, I think it will be great action points. So with that, I warmly welcome you and thank you so much to make us a part of your journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sachin Jain. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much to all our dignitaries on stage. Thank you, Mr. Sayam Mehra, Mr. Rajesh Rokre, Mr. Ravi Prakash Agarwal, Mr. Sachin Jain, and Mr. Thank you so much for being a part of the inaugural function. With that, we formally have inaugurated the Gems and Jewelry Banking Summit, and we now look forward to the 4 sessions that we've all gathered for. Ladies and gentlemen, our first session will put the spotlight on strength of the gems and jewelry industry, financing opportunities for bankers, and building financial resilience in the gems and jewelry industry. Mr. Ravi Prakash Agarwal has already given us an overview of what each session will involve. So it's my privilege and pleasure now to introduce and invite each of our panelists on stage. Mr. Manish Goel, Head of Bullion ICICI, is a senior management professional with 25 years of experience in preparing and implementing effective plans and strategies related to the bullion business with a quest to be a market leader. He has a proven track record of creating an effective internal network to exchange ideas focused on achieving long-term business objectives. He has in-depth exposure to all aspects of the banking activities. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Manish Goel. Mr. Sayam Mehra, as chairman of the All India Gem and Jewelry Domestic Council, is known for his vision and dynamism, creating benchmarks in the business of gold over the last many years. Coming from a family that has been in the jewelry business for over 5 decades, Mr. Mehra actively represents industry concerns in governmental forums, fostering growth and sustainability within the G&J community. He is director of Unique Chains and Private Limited, one of the biggest B2B wholesalers and manufacturers in India. Mr. Sayam Mehra is the visionary behind GJS India Gems and Jewelry Show, now one of the biggest and most successful jewelry shows in India. His relentless pursuit of excellence and unwavering dedication to the Gem and Jewelry Domestic Council's initiatives are well appreciated across the industry. A warm welcome to Mr. Sayam Mehra. Mr. Sachin Jain is Regional Chief Executive Officer, India for the World Gold Council. He brings with him deep understanding of the Indian consumer and jewelry market, from strategic thinking to practical execution. He has over 2 decades of rich experience and understanding of the Indian consumer. His commitment and dedication to the gems and jewelry industry is truly an inspiration for all of us. Mr. Sachin Jain, a warm welcome to you, sir. Mr. Ravi Prakash Agarwal, COA member of the GJC and convener Gems and Jewelry Banking Summit, heads a reputed 106-year-old firm, Raghunandan Prasad Saraf Private Limited. He did his BTech from IIT Roorkee and MTech from IIT Bombay in 1974. Mr. Ravi Agarwal has been president of the UP Chamber of Commerce and Industries, vice president of the Uttar Pradesh Sarafa Association, as well as president Meerut Gem and Jewelry Export Promotion Society, during the tenure of which he also started an institute in Meerut for training and export of jewelry with the help of the central government. In addition to the above, he is also past president of the MBTA, the Meerut Bullion Trader Association, which is the biggest Sarafa association of Meerut. Mr. Ravi Prakash Agarwal is founder member of GJF, now GJC, and has been associated with the Federation since its inception in 2005. He is now a COA GJC. A warm welcome. Please put your hands together for Mr. Ravi Prakash Agarwal. Mr. Suvankar Sen is Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Senco Gold Limited, headquartered in Kolkata. A pan-India jewelry retailer with legacy of over 5 decades. After taking over the baton from founder chairman, the late Shankar Sen, Suvankar has been instrumental in bringing Bengal's finest craftsmanship and karigari to consumers across India through its 142 showrooms nationally, as well as cementing brand Senco Gold and Diamonds as the largest organized jewelry retail player in East India. Under his leadership and strategic direction, Senco achieved a significant milestone of getting listed on the NSE and BSE in July 2023. He successfully navigated the pandemic phase by constantly innovating through technology adoption and being agile to the needs of the consumers, which helped the company achieve a turnover of 4,000 crore rupees in FY 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, a big hand to Mr. Suvankar Sen. Mr. Kumar Parmani is National Head for the Gems and Jewellery Trade, Bullion and Foreign Exchange Services in Yes Bank Limited. He has been working with the bank for 11 years and has an experience of 20 years in bullion banking industry. He has multifaceted knowledge with regards to the bullion business, credit and compliance. A warm welcome to Mr. Kumar Parmani. And ladies and gentlemen, our very distinguished moderator. Manisha Gupta is a commodities editor and the only credible face on Indian media for all things commodities. She is an MBA and also holds a diploma in international trade finance. She started a career as an advisor for Forex and international commodities and headed the trading desk for commodities before joining CNBC TV 18. Manisha is an expert on price and commodity and policy measures for India and global commodities. From crude oil to copper, from corn to cotton, Manisha is the expert voice. She has won major awards for the best coverage on commodities from various prestigious institutes and fora. Manisha leads the commodity coverage on CNBC TV 18, CNBC Awaz, and occasionally in Gujarati on CNBC Bazaar. She has also strengthened the commodity video coverage on moneycontrol.com. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a huge round of applause for Manisha Gupta. And Manisha, it's over to you.
Thank you so much. And who's who of bullion is right here, and it's a very interesting topic to speak on as well. You know, in the last decade or so, we've seen such great moves in the bullion industry. There have been various steps that the government also has taken. So we've seen hallmarking come in. There's a lot of cleaning that has happened here as well. GST is here. Pardon me. And we have seen a lot of stuff go online here. We've seen IPOs happen also. So there's just so much to celebrate when you look at this industry. और मुझे नहीं पता आप में से कितने लोग रात को सोए, because जब तक US markets open थी और जब तक वो gold and silver के prices ऊपर चढ़ते रहे, I'm assuming all of you were watching it as well. And we will of course marry the two, the price movement and the kind of finance needs that the bullion sector has, and what the bankers really are providing and can provide going forward. So we will touch upon all of those topics. Mr. Agarwal, I'll come to you first. And this is your brainchild, and why don't you set a context? आपने बोला आपकी कंपनी 106 साल पुरानी है.
जी जी 106 साल पुरानी
तो
है.
किस तरह से शुरू हुई और आज कहाँ पर है, पहले तो वही लर्निंग चाहेंगे.
This was started my father Raghunandan Prasad Saraf in 1918 when he himself was 17 years old, and he did this business honestly. Honestly was the main key point for him, and that has promoted us to this stage. From that, I am the son, the younger son of that. My eldest son is 20 years elder to me. Okay. And during this period, when he was died, my cousins were associated with us, and we had taken the business to this stage. From that shop, which I am owning, the oldest one, number of shops has come, around 10 or 12 shops has come, in which my cousins and my stepbrother and real brothers has gone.
मिस्टर अग्रवाल, हमें ये भी बताइए कि उस टाइम पे फाइनेंशियल नीड्स कैसी होती थी, और जैसे जैसे अब साल बीतते गए हैं, आपने कैसे देखा है रिलेशनशिप विद द फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशंस और बैंक्स?
एज फॉर माई ओन बिजनेस, फाइनेंशियल प्रॉब्लम्स हमें कभी नहीं आई, बिकॉज वी वर द लीडिंग रिटेल होल बिजनेसमैन, और नॉर्दर्न इंडिया के अंदर वी वर द टॉप मोस्ट. सो वो प्रॉब्लम हमें फाइनेंशियली कभी नहीं आई. और माई फादर, वन थिंग आई नो, my father has started this business in 1918 with 200 rupees, which he has taken from his bhabi, the elder brother's wife. Yeah.
ओके सो आज की डेट में जिस तरह से बैंकिंग का इम्पोर्टेंस है, फाइनेंस की इम्पोर्टेंस है, कैसे देखते हैं आप विद इन द बुलियन इंडस्ट्री?
एक्चुअली व्हाट आई फील इज़ कि पहले समय में बुलियन के बारे में बहुत रिकॉर्ड हमारा ख़राब रहा। वो कारण ये है कि कुछ हमारे लोग इंडिया से बाहर चले गए मनी लेकर, तो ये डिफ़ॉल्ट हुआ। डिफ़ॉल्ट होने की वजह से बैंकिंग सेक्टर जो है ज्वेलरी इंडस्ट्री को बहुत अच्छी निगाह से नहीं देखता, शायद अभी भी शायद उतना नहीं देखता। हमारा ये सबमिट करने से पर्पज़ ये है कि ऐसी स्थिति नहीं है, अब पहले से बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग हम सारे बिजनेसमैन हैं, ज्वेलर्स हैं, और उसको हमें ये देखना है कि जो स्ट्रेंथ है हमारी, उस स्ट्रेंथ की वजह से जो फैसिलिटीज़ हमें बैंक से मिलनी चाहिए वो फैसिलिटीज़ हमें बैंक से चाहिए। और बैंक को भी जो है हमसे जो है, आज की मीटिंग का पर्पज़ भी यही है, जब साथ बैठते हैं तो बहुत सारी चीज़ें सॉल्व हो जाती हैं। तो ये इस तरह के प्रोग्राम हमें करते रहने हैं ताकि ये चीज़ दूर हो जाए।
ओके तो ये ऑफ कोर्स एक नॉलेज जो है जो हमने यहाँ पर मिस्टर अग्रवाल से ली है। सयम, आई वांट टू कम टू यू एज वेल बिकॉज 5 decades ऑफ डूइंग दिस, व्हाट जनरेशन आर यू इन सेंस ऑफ ज्वेलर्स?
देखिए, हर जो द सक्सेसफुल ज्वेलर्स आज आप देखेंगे, सो 1990 से गोल्ड कंट्रोल एक्ट जब ख़त्म हुई उसके बाद ज्वेलर्स जो कपड़े मार्केट से आए, कोई दूसरे आए, फाइनेंशियल प्रोडक्ट्स को समझने वाले आए, वो ज्वेलर्स 1990 से बन के एक लेवल पे चले गए। बट वन आई वुड लाइक टू से कि वी आर फ्रॉम अमृतसर, एक पंजाब के अंदर अमृतसर टाउन है, वहाँ से वी आर कमिंग। माई ग्रैंडफादर स्टार्टेड बिजनेस इन 1950 and my forefathers since 1600 are just doing jewelry. We have a family tree in our जहाँ पे एक पंडित जी बैठते, पंडित जी ने फैमिली ट्री बनाई हुई है कि आप क्या करते थे। उस टाइम पर तो कोई फेसबुक नहीं था, व्हाट्सएप नहीं था, जहाँ कुंडली आ जाती थी तो कुंडली तो पंडित जी बनाते थे। तो तब से हमारे पास है कि क्या कर रहे थे, सारे के सारे ज्वेलर्स ही थे। और अभी 1950 से श्री राजकुमार मेहरा, माई ग्रैंडफादर, स्टार्टेड इन अमृतसर, वी शिफ्टेड टू मुंबई इन 1980 and from there my father started the journey of with his 2 brothers. In 1986 they separated and 1986 से till now we are handling unique chains. I came in 2000. एक बात और बताना चाहूँगा, आज के तारीख में एक टैबू हो गया है। हर कोई बोलता है कि जितना जिसके जेब में पैसा होए, ज्वेलर्स थिंक दैट वे, बिकॉज ज्वेलर्स को सबसे ज़्यादा अपने ऊपर रहता है कि यार पैसा हम किसी से लेंगे, हम इतने सालों से लोगों को पैसा बांटते आए हैं, ज्वेलरी मॉर्टगेज करते आए हैं, क्या हम आज बैंक से पैसा लेंगे? अपने बच्चों को बोलते हैं कि बॉस आप अगर पैसा चाहते हो तो जितना है उतना व्यापार करो। हमने जीवन में टैक्स नहीं भरा, लेकिन अभी भरना चालू करेंगे।
अभी भी बोलते हैं लोग ऐसा?
नहीं, अभी नहीं
बोलते,
पहले।
हाँ।
तो उससे क्या पैसा होगा? तो मोदी सरकार के अंदर पैसा बुक्स में होगा तो ही काम कर सकते हो, वरना काम नहीं कर सकते आप। तो अभी आप 2 तरीके से नई जनरेशन को क्लीन बोल्ड करोगे कि टैक्स इतने सालों से जो लॉजिकली भरा गया है और अभी फुल स्पीड से भर रहे हो, और उसके बाद जितना है उतना ही करोगे और बैंक को भी अंदर नहीं डालोगे, तो भाई व्यापार कैसे करोगे?
So the reason I'm asking all of yours journey is कि इतने सालों से आप यहाँ पर हैं, जनरेशन बिजनेस है ये, तो पहले बैंकिंग नीड्स कैसी थी? और जैसे आपने बताया कि पहले तो नहीं होता था ये, लेकिन with the years going by, especially in 1990s, we've seen banks start to play a very important role here.
After the Gold Control Act, if you see, then the industry has got organized, and all the other corporates and the players who were not there in the industry also are now interested in the industry. And I see with the gold prices increasing and 15 to 20% of the portfolio of a lady, of a family is coming into gem and jewelry, I see that all the major corporates coming inside and expanding this business fourfolds.
Savanka, to you then, and you are the IPO guy here, and you were one of the first ones really, and now everybody you speak to, सब लोग बता रहे हैं कि IPOs हैं पाइपलाइन में, 4 के साथ मैं काम कर रहा हूँ, बैंकर्स हैं, PE वाले हैं, फंड्स हैं, everybody seems to be saying that. हमारे बैंकर से भी हम यहाँ पे पूछेंगे कि उनको किस तरह की इन्फॉर्मेशन है. But for you first, how has your relationship been with the banking as a sector, and how have you seen the growth?
So, in order to grow your business, there are 2-3 ways that you can get your funds, right? So one is the profits that you're generating out of your business. You are redeploying the profit, and that is how you're having a sustainable growth. But ये last 15 साल में या 20 साल में जिस हिसाब से the growth of the economy is happening, I think we all, as a member of the industry, must acknowledge that in order to really capture the opportunity that is lying in front of you, it is not possible for an organization to just depend on the self-generated profit to attain any kind of liquidity. So therefore, you will have to reach out to various kinds of stakeholders, banks being one of them, कि वहाँ से आप funds लेके grow करो. 2007-8 में हाँ अच्छा आप
I just want to interject with one thing, Subankar. So when you wanted, how long have you been dealing with banks? One. Two, when you wanted to put out an IPO, I'm sure there were a lot of documents, lot of stuff that you would have to work with your bankers and your funds, etc. वो सब process कैसा था?
So मैं business join किया 2007-8 में. I'll give an example. Real life तो सबको एक journey समझ आ जाएगा. तो हम लोग का तब बैंक से लिमिट्स थे 15 से 20 करोड़ 2007-8 में, एंड अबाउट 5-6 स्टोर्स थे. सो देन ज्वाइनिंग के बाद जब अपॉर्चुनिटी, ग्रोथ, ये सारा चीज़ का डिस्कशन हो रहा है, तो तब आप कैसे फंड्स करोगे, तो वो 15 से 20 करोड़ से 100 करोड़ का एक हम लोग बैंक से लिमिट लिया. सो दैट वाज लाइक अ बिग जंप.
And that was easy to do?
It wasn't easy to do. Because उस time पे for the industry itself, the banks were also trying to understand the industry. क्योंकि आपको कोई funds देंगे तो किस हिसाब से देंगे, आपका books judge करेंगे, आपको judge करेंगे, आपके सारे बैकग्राउंड्स चेक करके. उनका बैंक के दो डिवीज़न होते हैं. एक तो सेल्स वाले होते हैं जो जाके बिजनेस लाने के लिए वो काम करेंगे, पर दूसरा जो रिस्क वाले होते हैं उनका एक रोल रहता है कि वो आपका पूरा सारे पैरामीटर्स को जज करके फिर वो बोलेंगे हाँ ठीक है, इंडस्ट्री भी ग्रो करेगा, ये बिजनेस भी है, गुडविल भी है, सोच भी सही है, सिस्टम है, ये सारे चीज़ है, तो चलो मैं पैसा दे सकता हूँ. दैट वाज वन. एंड देन हाउ डू यू ग्रो ऑन टॉप ऑफ दैट, से 100 करोड़ से 150 करोड़, 150 से 250, 300, ऐसे करके ग्रोथ फ्रॉम द बैंक. जैसे जैसे आप बैंक को टाइमली इंटरेस्ट दोगे, बैंक से रिलेशनशिप रखोगे, बैंक को आपका बिजनेस का डेटा दोगे, बैंक से आपको बिजनेस के बारे में समझाओगे, तो वैसे वैसे बैंक आपके कंपनी के ऊपर भी वो विश्वास बढ़ेगा और उनको भी बिजनेस चाहिए. लेट अस नॉट फॉरगेट दैट व्हाइल वी नीड द मनी फ्रॉम द बैंक्स, द बैंक नीड गुड कस्टमर्स जिनको वो पैसा देके उनको वो भी शांति से सोना चाहेगा कि मेरा पैसा सही तरीके से है, ही इज़ रनिंग द बिजनेस प्रॉपरली, सेफली, एंड आई नो दैट माई मनी इज गेटिंग वेल यूटिलाइज. दैट इज नंबर वन. नंबर टू, आई थिंक फॉर पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ द लास्ट 5-6 years कि आपको IPO तो एक है, बट IPO में कंपनी को लाने के लिए आपको तो फंड्स चाहिए. और फंड्स आप 3-4 जगह से ले सकते हो, कुछ सही जगह से ले सकते हो, कुछ गलत जगह से ले सकते हो. बट एज एन इंडस्ट्री वो आई गेस वी ऑल हैव टू, जैसे वो एड दिखा रहे थे वर्ल्ड गोल्ड काउंसिल की, ऑप्शंस आपके पास सारे चीज़ है. इट इज़ अप टू अस कि कौन सा चूज़ करे. जो इजीली ऑप्शन है वो चूज़ करे, कि थोड़ा टफ ऑप्शन है वो चूज़ करें. जो टफ ऑप्शन है वो चूज़ करेंगे तो उस टाइम पे बहुत मेहनत, बहुत सारे कठिन परिस्थिति आएंगे, बट वो लॉन्ग टर्म में आप लुक बैक करेंगे तो आपको लगेगा नहीं यही सही रहा. और फाइनली आ गया मेटल गोल्ड लोन. मनीष जी एंड ऑल द वेरियस ऑफ आवर फ्रेंड्स, तब तो शंकर जी थे, एंड ही वॉज अ वेरी ही वॉज वेरी ओपन माइंडेड कि नया कुछ आएगा तो उनको वो ट्राई करना है. तो बैंक ऑफ नोवा स्कोशिया आ गया इंडस्ट्री में गोल्ड देने के लिए. तो वो एक फिर नया शुरुआत हो गया कि चलो आपको कॉस्ट ऑफ फंड्स लो रहेंगे और आपको गोल्ड मिलना चालू हो जाएगा. तो उस हिसाब से फिर वो एक नया जर्नी 2006, 7, 8 से सब चालू किए. एंड दैट ऑल्सो अलाउज यू, क्योंकि आपका बैलेंस शीट आपको देखना पड़ेगा, आपका डेट इक्विटी रेशियो देखना पड़ेगा. देर आर टाइम्स व्हेन आप मे बी बियॉन्ड व्हाट यू नीड, आपको लिमिट्स मिल जाएगा. बट द पॉइंट इज दैट आप जैसे जैसे आपका प्रॉफिट, आपका नेटवर्थ आपका ग्रो करेंगे, वो थोड़ा डिसिप्लिन के साथ आपको बैंक से पैसा लेना है. एंड फाइनली आई थिंक दैट with the IPO, the confidence of the banks goes up that much more, that now you have not only the banks who is giving you money, but there is so many more people giving you money. तो उस हिसाब से उसका एक अलग ही benefit मिल जाता है.
All right, so clearly a success story there. Let me come to you now, Sachin, and you've been associated with the jewelry industry for decades now. While the bigger jewelers जो बड़े हैं उनको of course they want to try, innovate, technology, उनको सब कुछ करना होता है. It's easier for them also. They want to open up. They have those aspirations to grow, pan India, even outside India for that matter. But the problem really is with the MSMEs and the SMEs. You have dealt with a lot of jewelry, owners in that sense. Would you say that there is still a demarcation when you look at the higher guys and not the big boy gang?
Thanks, Manisha. I think मेरे हिसाब से it's not really about the big boys, whatever we call it, the big boys club and the small boys club. I think ये थोड़ा mindset वाला एक subject है, और ये mindset एक change एक छोटे शहर में भी हो रहा है, बड़े शहर में कम हो रहा है मेरे हिसाब से तो. The enterprise जो मैं दिन प्रतिदिन देखता हूँ on not just youngsters, but अगर आप you're in the business but your willingness to change, I think that is the key trigger. And I think with all the things that I keep hearing about private equity wanting to invest in our business, there is a lot of willingness, but there's not I think there's a gap on if I have the money, should I or shouldn't I? There is, and I'll give you also a perspective of some other retail, like as a business. So my previous experience has been in apparel, in watches, and all of that. And the fact अगर आप देखें कि एक watch business है, apparel business है, आपका अगर पैसा is taken from a bank to fund your inventory, the reality is that large part of the inventory is in the brand name, so to say. It's not the value of the product, right? But the willingness of banks is very high. Whereas in our business, and just to give you an example in the apparel business, 31 दिसंबर को आपका जो पूरा कलेक्शन है उसकी वैल्यू 1 जनवरी को हाफ रह जाती है, because season finishes. So you see, it's a very cyclical business, and banks have no problem funding that business. Whereas you come to our business where the value of the product doesn't move, but the willingness is such a gap. So what Suvankar is saying, we have options. I think as an industry, do we move to the right area? I think if we do it quicker, will be better. But I don't think the issue is big boys club and small boys club. I think the issue is willingness and openness, and I see it happening at all levels. And बहुत जल्दी आप ऐसे नाम देखेंगे जो historically नए रहे हैं. There are new names that'll become big. I see, अगर आप सिर्फ 5 साल का analysis करें, the new brands that have come in with no legacy, कि भाई मेरे 100 साल का नाम नहीं है, 50 साल का नाम नहीं है. If you do that analysis, वो सिर्फ banking sector से funded है, वो private equity से funded है, and they don't come with a legacy. The youngsters coming out, and things will, few of them fail, few of them don't fail, but that's the future, which will not be about, big thinking, or it's about your willingness to accept the future.
It's not about big boys, it's about big thinking here. And I totally get your point there. There was a time, perhaps 10-12 साल पहले, जब लोग ज्वेलरी बिजनेस में नहीं आना चाहते थे. Actually, जो लोग ज्वेलरी बिजनेस में थे, उनको भी लगता था कि एक alternate business ढूंढना पड़ेगा, because this is absolutely not working. But that clearly seems to have changed right now, because not just the existing guys are doing well, but the newer guys also seem to be coming in here. And I absolutely allude to the point that Sachin made कि P वाले जो लोग हैं, वो हमसे भी बात करते हैं कि आप इतने सारे लोगों को, जूलर्स को चैनल पे बुलाते हैं, हमें बताइए who do you think is strong, who we can approach in sense of taking a bit of a stake, and of course approaching them in various ways there. So absolutely get that. I also want to come to the bankers now. Manish, I'll start with you, and a lot of stuff has changed. What do you now, and I don't want to go 10 years ago, because I went to them for an experience in a sense on how they have moved ahead. But today, when a jeweler comes to you, and vis-a-vis perhaps a pharma company or a cloth apparel company or a watch company, what is it? Does it still bother you that you're funding a jewelry company?
See, past is past, but it still is there in memory. So, having said that, I would say things have changed, and things have changed for good, especially in the last 5 to 7 years. And that I would say it's a result of a collective effort made by the regulators as well as the industry. Regulators have brought in some of the changes which the industry has embarrassed it and embraced it and got into and moving along with it. One of the biggest change was basically on the GST front. Subsequently, after GST, it was the hallmarking, and these two changes itself, I think, has changed the entire dynamics and structure of the industry. In my past experience, we used to see, especially in this industry, we see people or the promoters are so very strong financially, fundamentally, but if you look at the balance sheet, there was nothing on it. That has taken a 360 turn. And that is the reason why we see the banks and the financial institutions and overall funding to the industry has gone up substantially. And like what Sachin mentioned, it is more what the banks look at is more people behind the balance sheet plays a equally important role as the balance sheet. So like PE funds, when PE funds are looking at investing, they have all the numbers in front of them. But what is the information which they are looking out from the market is basically what is the surety of what has happened in the past is going to be continuing for the next 10 years. So that is becoming more and more important even in our internal credit analysis for the customers. So it is not the question of whether someone is big or small, it is the person behind the balance sheet. That's equally important now.
But is that this thought process is across sectors, right? You're not choosing between, or you're not eyeing jewelry industry with that light or mindset?
No, not at all. That
Not anymore.
Not anymore. And that is the reason you see, if we see the last 7-8 years, across the sectors, across the banks, the NPA numbers have been coming down across sectors. And that has been the result of what banks have experienced in the past, learned out of it, and hence their lending practices have changed. And more of, I would say, qualitative rather than quantitative emphasis are going in that. So I would sum it up as like, as a bank, the bankers now feel return of capital is more important than return on capital. And hence, even when I heard some of the colleagues saying that the cost to this industry is higher compared to other, I don't really see it where I sit, because that kind of differentiation is not anymore. So it's more on the credit assessment, the strength of the company, which decides the commercial factors and not the industry anymore.
That's good to know. Kumar, I would want to know your sense on this as well first, and then of course I'll have follow-ups.
So Manisha, I've been in the industry for 20 years now. So,
You want water?
yeah. So what I have seen is the generation now actually has been able to, manage their image in a better way as compared to what we have seen collectively in the last year. I mean, the statement sounds really straight and this thing, but I'll tell you, let's talk about COVID. During COVID, we had a lot of GML outstanding. The price of gold went up. There was no way to, make remittances and all. I think by far all the customers who were across the banks, they paid back their money. They were able to honor their MTM. So I think the management has changed. The way the customers are able to manage their business. Some of them, I know, they said, I cannot cut my position because if I cut my position, I'll be exposed to the price risk, right? Back 10 years ago, we would ask the customer to cut the price, he will cut the price. Essentially what happens is, okay, I have cleared my position, but actually he's running a loss. He's running a risk, the price risk. So that is where we see a lot of difference. The change in regulation which has happened, the GST coming in, the TDS, TCS. So all of those data is now available for banks also to independently verify, okay, what sales you're showing is actually matching your GST returns, the TDS returns. So these are all the factors which also gives bank a comfort. See, banks, when they're financing, they're not looking at your collateral. There are customers who, say, कि मैं तो 100% collateral दे रहा हूँ, मुझे funding नहीं मिल रहा. It is your business model that the bank is looking at. The bank is not interested in your collateral. That is only a security. Okay, the promoter background, what has been his business, what has been his business 20 years ago, has he done a forward integration, backward integration, is it a new business, what is his customer base, is it dependent on one customer, 5 customers, 20 customers. I mean, to analyze a retailer is very different than analyzing a jewelry manufacturer, and likewise for exporter. I mean, so all of those aspects are different. The teams at the bank also now understand. When I compare 20 years ago, actually customers have also made the bank learn, that, okay, if this is a retailer, this is what I should be looking at. Why would he need a funding? Why would he need a branch to be an outlet to be opened just 5 kilometers away. You know, so there are these questions which, as a banker, we ask to gain information as to what is the thought process of that retailer. Manufacturer may want to go for a bigger facility. Why is he not, let's say, if he's doing it in Mumbai, he wants to grow, and so is he doing that location within Mumbai, he's going outside, so the cost analysis. So a lot of things come out from the promoter when they talk about it. So I think the banks are open to that, the business. The banks need more business than actually jeweler needing funding. Yeah, there are sophisticated products available at a right price and a cost-effective way, and also, so the cost is also in control. The hedges are available. The price risk is maintained. So I don't think it can get any better. The customers definitely, if he's looking at a funding, the right balance sheet, the right promoter gets the right funding. That is what I would want to say.
फेयर पॉइंट. सो क्लियरली बैंक्स का नज़रिया पिछले 10-20 साल में यहाँ पर काफ़ी चेंज हुआ है. हमने ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोग यहाँ पर इन द बैंकिंग सिस्टम भी आते हुए देखे हैं, और जैसे कुमार ने कहा भी, और भी फाइनेंशियल प्रोडक्ट्स अब जूलर्स के लिए यहाँ पर अवेलेबल हैं. हम उस पर भी आएंगे. दैट्स अ वेरी प्रोमिनेंट क्वेश्चन देयर. पर उससे पहले आई वॉन्ट टू आस्क माई जूलर्स हियर कि आपको एज ऑफ नाउ जहाँ पर हम खड़े हैं, बैंक से क्या इशूज़ हैं? आपको क्या लगता है अभी भी क्या चीज़ है जो सॉल्व नहीं हुई है?
मैं इसमें ज़रा सा बोलना चाहूँगा. किसी भी बिजनेस के मुकाबले ज्वेलर्स का बिज़नेस थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट है. हर बिज़नेस के अंदर जो बैलेंस शीट में आता है वो सेल प्रॉफिट आता है, और सेल प्रॉफिट के हिसाब से ही जो है बैंकर्स सबको लोन देते हैं.
इसमें गोल्ड प्राइस भी आता है.
हमारे यहाँ रेट प्रॉफिट और सेल प्रॉफिट दोनों आता है. और आई हैड एक्सपीरियंस दैट 50% ऑफ द बैंकर्स डू नॉट नो इट कि भाई ये रेट प्रॉफिट भी होता है ना. तो मेरा,
आपको पता है रेट प्रॉफिट होता है?
The change in prices, right?
Yeah, change.
तो actually
हमारे बैंकर्स को पता है.
होता है, मैं बता रहा हूँ. तो इट इज़ ए स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ आवर ज्वेलर्स कि रेट प्रॉफिट. और पिछले, मैंने एक व्हाट्सएप देखा था कि पिछले 8 साल से जो रेट प्रॉफिट है उसने 11.2% का इंटरेस्ट दिया है, और इट इज़ एश्योर्ड कि अगले 8 साल भी ये 11.2 का निकलेगा. मेरी अपनी बैलेंस शीट के अंदर ही मार्च में जो है जो स्टॉक वैल्यूशन हुई है वो 51,000 से हुई है. यू कैन एज्यूम कि अगले 2 साल तो लॉस होना ही नहीं है. हमारे इसके अंदर सेल प्रॉफिट तो भी है, हम परचेज़ करते हैं तो प्रॉफिट आता है, क्योंकि परचेज़ करने के साथ साथ जो स्टॉक की जो है वैल्यूशन, स्टॉक रेट बढ़ जाता है, वैल्यूशन बढ़ जाती है.
So,
तो इस तरह से कोई चांसेस नहीं है कि अगले 2 साल में लॉस
होगा.
तो
Manish, I want you to comment on this one. How much do you take cognizance of this, and how does it work on the numbers?
See, when the balance sheet analysis is being done by the credit department, they do the operating profit calculation as a percentage of sales. So when you do operating profit analysis, it captures both the things simultaneously because it shows the reported profit of the company. And somehow, as Kumar mentioned, internally the credit department has now started understanding this industry, because just to give a small example, if a jewelry manufacturer is there, he may be having a turnover of 1,000 crores. His profit margin would be X percentage. But when we go to any other industry of that size of customer, his profit would be on a totally different scale. So the profit margin analysis is the base for credit analysis, and that captures the price appreciation of the commodity. And because now more and more cases are going to credit team from gem and jewelry sector, they have started giving it a different kind of a weightage, and not comparing it with other industry and expecting the same level of profit margins.
Amazing. तो वो एक चीज़ तो हो गई है. और कुछ रवि जी जो आप पॉइंट इन करना चाहेंगे? Okay, Sayam, for you.
See, the thing is, last time when we had a conversation with the finance minister when she was here after the budget last time, we said कि banks के rate of interest वो Fed ने rates बढ़ा दिए, 5% हो गए, 6.5% हो गए. हम लोगों को अगर we look at ourselves, WCDL we are getting at somewhere about 8.5 to 9%, and the general CC is 11. So I said, ma'am, I asked her, ma'am, is it right that this kind of rate of interest, which is the highest in the world, is being followed in India? And when we asked the bankers कि क्या करना है, so she replied that the SBI was there, the Yes Bank was there, HDFC, ICICI were there. She said, I have never stopped them to reduce the rates. They can still go down by 1% or 1.5% more than what they are doing. And I am telling them to do that, but they are not ready to do it. Now you tell them yourself and you talk to them how it can do when they come with the MCLR. Their MCLR can be 8, 8.2, 8.3, but the repo is 6. And where they can get close to on that lines is their own decision, and they have to have the appetite that the entrepreneur also makes money. Is something which the banks need to understand. When there was a time when we were at 15-16% a few years back, we've come down to 9, we've come down to 10. But I think if you see international markets, you see Japan, you see US, you see Dubai, they're all at 6% something. Someone is on 3, someone is on 2, and we are doing. We have a 33% partner with or 25 with the income tax department. We have 9% partners with the 10% partners with the banks. Then we have on the back we have the gold profits which is coming in, which helps us. But in the end, as Manish bhai said, that 1,000 crore turnover में profit तुम्हारा कितना छोटा है. अरे हम तो चाहते हैं करना, बैंक तो हेल्प करे, हम भी करेंगे प्रॉफिट. तो थोड़ा एपेटाइट अपनी सही रखें. और दूसरा वन मोर पॉइंट आई वुड लाइक टू कम अहेड कि व्हेन वी आर एक्सपोर्टिंग नो there is about 15% GST customs which is there with the bank. When the export is done and when the payment comes back, it is a time of 15 to 30 days. जब वो 30 days complete होगा उसके बाद the bank will leave the custom duty. कुमार भाई आपके पास ही पड़ी होती है सबकी मनीष भाई. तो अगर वो ड्यूटी पड़ी है, so ऐसा we've told the government also and they said that we need the bank support for that. So if an exporter is exporting, he has a value of 100 kilos of gold with him and he exports 1,000 kilos और उसका पेमेंट आया 1.5 महीने बाद, तो जो मार्जिन है मीनिंग 20% फॉर द वैल्यू ऑफ 100 इज 20%. 1,000 किलो में तो पूरा बैंक के पास पैसा जमा हो जाएगा. जब धीरे धीरे पैसा आएगा उसके बाद छोटेगा तो खाली बैठा है. सो आई फील कि बैंक शुड ऑल्सो, एक बार शिपमेंट आ गई, उसका रिलेशनशिप है, उसके सिस्टम्स हैं कुछ, लेकिन उसको और स्ट्रीमलाइन करते हुए वंस इट इज गॉन, इट इज सीन दैट इट इज गॉन एंड द पर्सन इज एक्चुअली स्टे इन द कंट्री एंड इज नॉट गोइंग टू रन अवे, द बैंक नोज इट. द प्रॉपर पेपरवर्क के साथ the money should be released so that working capital also increases with the jeweler. So these are 2 points.
All right. Kumar, please come in on this. So one, of course, there is a lag with various businesses. I mean, it's not just the jewelry industry, but this, now that you have understood, is a different sector altogether and a different beast altogether. Whatever he put across, can that all be worked on?
So I think Sayam bhai told about export and I would want to just touch a brief point. I think bankers को customer नहीं सिखाया है ये सब करने के लिए. नहीं तो 10 साल पहले, 15 साल पहले आई थिंक हम कुछ नहीं करते थे ऐसा. एंड अल्टीमेटली द बैंक्स हैड टू टेक द बीटिंग फॉर दिस. यू वांट टू से समथिंग? ओके.
मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि कस्टम के साथ मीटिंग कर लेंगे, लेकिन बैंक को ऐसा
कस्टम नहीं, मैं बोल रहा हूँ कस्टमर ने हमको सिखाया कि पैसे कस्टमर ने. ओके,
वो कह रहे हैं कि वो लोग जो कर रहे हैं वो आपने ही उनको सिखाया है.
ठीक है. सो वी मे हैव few couple of Sayam bhai, but not everybody is Sayam bhai, right?
Thank God.
So yes, I know where you come from, and just as it is painful for you, it is painful for us also, because that much money I'm not able to lend it to you, right? So I'm not making any return out of it. So it is equally bad for us to hold that margin and not make any money out of it. But having said which,
but can that period be
so
brought
that,
down?
Period again, it is a function of when they do the realization. But there are other products, I think you can look at various other subvention schemes and all of that, which can actually go and reduce your cost if you are an MSME, right? So all of that is there. There are sophisticated products, as I said. You do outright with the EPC. Maybe you are able to get it, your churn faster. So all of that, I think if you work around that, you should be able to optimize, if not, completely resolve the issue, but I think you should be able to optimize your working capital cycle. But yes, as bank, I would definitely tell you, we don't want to hold your margins because it is coming to us also at a cost.
Well, absolutely. I was coming to him because he needs to come out with his experience and what he wants from these bankers.
So one message the bankers should understand, and I am sure they have understood, कि यानी ये कोविड के बारे में आपने बताया, तो फॉर द इंडस्ट्री द सेविंग ग्रेस क्या है कि ये पैसा जो है इज जस्ट चेंजिंग इट्स कलर from a paper cash to gold or silver or diamonds to a certain extent. So पैसा ही रह गया. Rather the liquidity is as good in gold, silver and diamonds as much as it is in the paper currency. So उस हिसाब से banks और jewelers और we are very much similar कि वी आर डीलिंग, क्योंकि बहुत बैलेंस शीट्स में होते हैं कि नेगेटिव कैश फ्लोज क्यों आ रहे हैं, बट नेगेटिव कैश फ्लोज आ रहे हैं क्योंकि जो भी प्रॉफिट है, जो भी पैसा आ रहा है, वो तो सब स्टॉक्स में ही जा रहे हैं और तो कहीं नहीं जा रहे. तो अगर आपका स्टॉक सही है तो सब ठीक है. दैट इज नंबर वन. नंबर टू, आई थिंक व्हाट द बैंकर्स कैन रियली सपोर्ट अस ऑल द रिटेल पर्सपेक्टिव से, एक है कि आपका जो क्रेडिट कार्ड स्वाइप्स का चार्जेस है. I think more and more with the digitalization of India, and so that we are all very much kind of encouraging our customers also to, though they should consider in reducing cost, in which we are helping for the growth of India and digitalization of India. That is one part of it. The other part of it is that, for the members, I think the banks have started realizing the value of cash flow. So it is like, there is a saying which says that, top line is vanity, bottom line is sanity, but cash flow is reality. So I think what is most important for the industry and for the banks together, इसीलिए आप देखोगे कि WCDL या ये बहुत सारे अभी जो है जहाँ पे 90 days 120 days में अगर आप लोन लेके वापस कर देते हो तो बैंक्स का रिस्क भी कम हो जाता है, and they can pass on that benefit of a lower interest rate to you all as long as the money is in flow. So I think that इस हिसाब से जितना we jewelers and bankers can work together, it will help the industry. And finally, I think, and I maybe in the later on subjects it will be discussed furthermore, but the banks should talk to RBI कि ultimately consumer को ज्वेलरी का प्राइस बढ़ता जाएगा तो EMIs on gold ज्वेलरी को encourage करना चाहिए. क्योंकि अल्टीमेट मैं कहीं पे IDFC बैंक का चेयरमैन का एक इंटरव्यू देख रहा था कि कैसे द क्रेडिट जो भी ऑफ इंडिया हैज़ बिकम 3 folds or 4 folds पोस्ट कोविड, करेक्ट. सो इफ दैट इज़ द केस, देन अगर एक कंज्यूमर पैसा लेके XYZ प्रोडक्ट्स खरीद रहे हैं तो why not that we are allowing them, now that everything is trackable, to buy gold jewelry against EMI, and आज के प्राइस जिस हिसाब से बढ़ रहे हैं, it will help the industry and the banks together, where we can really track it out. So I think that is a need of the hour as well.
Yeah. I'm assuming as a consumer, I'm assuming this is something that almost all would want.
So, Swankar ji, जैसे आपने बोला, EMI on gold is more of a regulatory issue rather than the bank's willingness.
But he said, as bankers,
as
are you proposing to RBI for this?
So always see, regulator, if we step ourselves into RBI's shoes, what I think is that as a regulator, they have in mind to try to balance out two things. One is yes, the domestic industry, the domestic market, and the domestic things, and the second thing, they are also looking at the balance of payment and CAD. So gold forms the number 2. Just after oil, the second largest import is gold, and no gold is produced in India. It is entirely imported. So I think they have somewhere in mind that more and more promotion may result into higher demand, resulting into higher import. So probably
but going back, now government himself is buying gold, so forget consumers.
And I actually want to take it to Sachin really, because कुछ भी हो जाए, इस साल तो हमने prices all time highs पे देखे हैं और market को लगता है इससे भी ऊपर जाएंगे. Now this is for you now, Sachin. Even with these prices, how much of imports can we see this year?
Manisha, from our projection, if the volatility increases or it's not as stable, then it could be, the broad projection is 700 to 800 tons. Now, if there's high volatility, upar niche bahut jayega, instability, then it's perhaps the lower run of 700. And if things are stable and things are good, it's going to be around 800 tons. But one of the things that I was very keen to look at, that when you look into the future, and I'd love to get your point of view, our banker friends. See, blockchain as a concept, which gives anybody a confidence that if I'm putting a money on certain stock product, where it's come from, where it sits, and all of those things are completely transparent, is changing the conversation of funding and banking in the Western world. Right. I wanted to check, is that relevant? Is that something as an industry we need to look at 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? If the entire gold of the world is in one block, and you guys get to know that this is where it's coming from, and you kind of and I'm not talking today, I'm talking about maybe sometime future. Would that change? Because it's coming. It'll be great to get your knowledge as to what is the future.
Sachin, even before you go to the banks, I think you should put that question to Sangam. Are you okay your gold being tracked at every moment?
Perhaps not today, for sure.
No, I think it is not wrong. I think we are taking it from the bank. The industry is organized. the players are getting organized, and if the gold is tracked, I think there will be larger confidence in the government when it is coming to the imports. And if you see a certain sector, if we think that 2% or 10% industry is not organized and they are taking the other channels, we are supporting the government when we say that the each and every gold can be tracked, can be looked into, see where it is going, and see that when the confidence increases, the bank's confidence will increase. And also there are many regulatory problems that we are getting from the government. Maybe that will improve once this comes in.
Okay. So, Ankar, I just want to understand one more thing before I go to our bankers. Out of 10 people who are buying jewelry right now, how many are still paying in cash?
If you do the mathematics, I think what we have seen is about 25 to 30% of the consumers are paying in cash. 60 to 70% of the consumers are using credit cards, checks, RTGS, digital payments.
And are these 60% large ticket, or are these 25% people large ticket?
No, nothing like that. See, you have to understand in two methods. One is the rural, semi-urban customers. Let us not forget, and let us not think that every part of India everyone is using credit cards and everyone is, so digital savvy. So in the semi-rural areas, I think that this 25-30% can be higher at 40-45%, but that doesn't take away anything. And we should not judge them that are cash use कर रहे हैं तो खराब है, correct? Because they are from the agricultural background, so उनके लिए वो cash अभी भी चल रहा है उस हिसाब से. And higher ticket size, lower ticket size में, yes, the percentage of digital customers using for 30-40,000 is higher. For higher ticket size, maybe कोई अगर 3 लाख का लिया तो वो 1.5 लाख कैश दिया, बाकी credit card और ये सब करके दिया. So this is how it is happening.
All right. Bankers now, and Kumar, to you first. As of now, जिस तरह से industry है, and everybody's put a point forth, including Sachin, how would you look at solving, putting a proposal, looking into this, considering it perhaps, and also what are the newer products that you are getting now for the jewelry industry?
Okay, so I think Sanyamji mentioned about blockchain. Yes, I think we can look at blockchain, but I don't know how many jewelers stroke retailers are ready for that. I have not got any
as Sachin said, 5 years down the line maybe.
So yes, I think it will only add to the transparency. It will be easier for banks to do the funding. It is only a positive development if we get into any sort of blockchain, because a lot of comfort gets drawn. But when all of this cash coming in, various locations, various customers, I do not know how much of that really will help the jewelers. But today, as of now, when I have personally
Okay, let me take a step back here, Kumar. I wasn't trying to pull it that way, because I've been to clothes stores and I've been to watches stores and I've seen people pay cash there as well.
Correct.
I've seen people take out 2 lakhs and 3 lakhs from their purses and pay cash for various other businesses as well. So I wasn't trying to really put it in that light.
Yeah, so all I'm saying is, as bankers, we are definitely open looking at blockchain. Coming to new products, yes, we just touched upon WCDL. It's maybe the product is old, but there is a way. If it is a WCDL, it's a short-term loan. We are able to pass on the benefit of the pricing to the customer. Then you have GML. Within GML, I think outright we have a gold forward. So all of those products are available. As a banker, it is for us to teach this product or educate the customer of this product being available, which will actually benefit them on the pricing front. There are EPC product where is clearly 3% subvention coming up. A 3% number is a big number, right? So when you're talking about premium, when you're talking about various exports, 3% gives a very big discount in a way, I would say, and make your exports competitive. So all of this are available, and the bankers have, personally, we have converted a lot of customers from GML to a packing credit where subvention is available. So yes.
So are people aware? लोग आके मांगते हैं कि हमें ये products बताइए.
कुछ लोग मांगते हैं, कुछ को हम aware करते हैं, and फिर they find this as an alternative, better alternative. So doing an EPC along with an outright purchase essentially is a synthetic GML. So all of that really works, and actually customers are liking it.
Manish, to you.
So Kumar has already covered the products which are available, and on the blockchain, as bankers, we would love it, because it, like GST gives control or understanding about the balance sheet and the back-end authentication, this would in fact go to a next level of transparency altogether. So, for it.
For it. Right. अब जूलर्स में से बताइए कितने फॉर इट हैं अगर पूरा सोना यहाँ पे ट्रैक होता है? 1, 2, 3. ओके, ठीक है. I've had my discussion, I've had my questions of course, लेकिन अब हम ये फ्लोर खोलेंगे और आपके व्यूज़, क्योंकि हमारे पास 2 बैंकर्स हैं, प्लीज़ फील फ्री टू do the banker bashing here. I'm sure they're more than happy to address your questions here. Ji, please.
On the blockchain front, when you were talking about it, with the mandatory hallmarking coming in and HUID coming in, the regulation has already come in. So when we are talking about the jewelers are willing or not, the government has already laid up a platform for you to get the things done. So it's not going to be a big deal for the jewelry industry to adopt it in case if it is coming. So let's be practical that jewelry industry has adopted the systems. And as far as the cash is concerned, beyond 2 lakhs, it's not allowed in India, so nobody can accept cash anymore. So these 2 things are absolutely clear. On the interest spread price, when we are talking about the industry, when you are saying the collateral, the bankers are not keen on looking at the collaterals, or they are not very open on seeing only the collateral, but they are looking at the business practices. Then why there is a huge spread in between the repo as well as the interest rate which is offering to the people? We can look at that particular front as an opportunity to give more and more credit at a cheaper rate to the jewelers when they are absolutely safe, because the collaterals are there. And as Sachin Bhai has rightly said, if you look at the apparels, the season is out, their stock value is 0. Whereas in jewelry, even if it is scrap, it has a huge value. So I think you are in the safest business to reduce the spreads to the lowest. And when we are talking about WCDL, what is the spread you are charging on WCDLs also? WCDL spreads are also almost more than 200 basis points than the repo rate. So I think there is a scope of looking at these particular things when we are looking banks as our partners. If your partners are safe, banks are safe. And if the partner is growing, the bank is growing. I think you should think on this particular lines in a very, very positive frame, sir.
Kumar, please take
Thank
it.
you, Avinash ji. Yes, I mean, I understand what you're saying. I mean, WCDL rates, but I think there is something called MCLR, as it was just mentioned. And also, by no means I'm saying, okay, we are, we should not look at the rates. We definitely should look at the rate, but there are certain market forces also which comes in play for us. And overall, RAROC, all of those internal ratings, etc., because there are certain rating benchmarks which we, as a bank, I think all the banks will do that, basis which a price has to be arrived so that your return on asset, return on investment parameters are all met. That differs from bank to bank, and I think there is enough competition within the bankers also. So if one bank is not able to, get you a rate, there are other banks available already. I mean, this generally I'm saying. So yes, as banks, anyways, we have been looking at cost-effective models where we also reduce our cost. But at the same time, there are certain mandates which we need to achieve. However, having said that, we can definitely look at, whatever best we can do beyond what we are doing right now.
Kumar, I'm assuming a lot of this stuff gets done on a case-to-case basis also.
Correct.
So
it all depends. That's what I'm saying. The RAROC comes in the picture on a case-to-case basis because it is on the basis your internal rating of the customer, an internal assessment of the customer, the kind of also the industry. If it is a jewel, I think a lot of banks also look at if it's a retailer, if it is a manufacturer, what is the leverage that the customer is being taking. Let's say as a bank, I'm, for example, able to fund him 80% of his collateral. There's some other bank who can do only 70%. Obviously, it's business, right? I mean, we would say, okay, I'm giving you 80%, but you give me a little more. So it is a combination of lot of things. One is commercial aspect. There are other rating aspects, return aspects. All of these go into getting the price, getting to the number which the customer finally gets.
And just to add to Kumar's point, one point which I mentioned earlier also, like to like, the pricing is almost similar. It is not that the same kind of company in the jewelry sector versus the same kind of company in any other sector, there is any big gap between the pricing. So like to like, but within the same industry, as Kumar mentioned, because of internal parameters and the strength of the company, the pricing may differ, but all of us are trying to like be competitive because like you need funding, we also need customers like you. So it's mutual. So it's not a one-way street.
Yes.
As far as blockchain is concerned, still 33% India is having the hallmarking only. We are continuously pursuing government कि ऑल ओवर इंडिया के अंदर वो होना चाहिए. लेकिन जब हम गोल्ड की बात करते हैं हर बार तो एक चीज़ हम भूल जा रहे हैं, और इस बार सरप्राइजिंगली ये शॉकिंग होगा इस हॉल के लिए, गवर्नमेंट ने बात करते समय अभी प्रेशियस स्टोन को ट्रैकिंग का करने का प्लान बना लिया है, और ये पूरा उनका पीछे से बैकग्राउंड पूरा तैयार हो गया है. और ये जो प्रेशियस स्टोन का होने वाला है वो इंडस्ट्री में बहुत बड़े चेंजेस लाएंगा है, चाहे वो डायमंड हो, चाहे रूबी एमराल्ड हो या कोई भी हो. तो उसमें अभी तक के ब्लॉकचेन आया नहीं है. गोल्ड के अंदर अप टू सम एक्सटेंट आ गया, एटलीस्ट 40% आ गया है कि गोल्ड कहाँ से निकला कहाँ गया है, और ये एक बहुत बड़ा फेरबदल इंडस्ट्री में आने वाला है. उसके लिए इस हॉल में जितने भी लोग हैं उन्होंने थोड़ी सी अपनी प्रैक्टिस भी बदलना चाहिए और अवेयरनेस भी रखना चाहिए. थैंक यू.
मतलब आप बोल रहे हैं नितिन भाई डायमंड पे आएगा कि किस पे? लूज
प्रेशियस स्टोन सभी पे
सब.
ये संयम यू आर ऑल्सो प्रेजेंट देयर. जब गवर्नमेंट ने अपनी मंशा बताई थी कि हमको किसी ने बोला था कि इस पे सर्टिफिकेट आता है, तो बोला सर्टिफिकेट से कोई लेना देना नहीं है, इस पे HOID आना है. और जब गवर्नमेंट ने 2 फोरम के ऊपर HOID की बात कलर स्टोन पे शुरू कर दी है, तो कहीं ना कहीं उसकी पीछे तैयारी चल रही है. और जो 100 दिन का एजेंडा है गवर्नमेंट का, मैं एक थोड़ी सी ओपनली बात करना चाहूँगा. जब गवर्नमेंट 3 ट्रिलियन की अभी अपनी इकोनॉमी और 5 ट्रिलियन की बात कर रही, जिस दिन पूरे ट्रेड नॉट ओनली ज्वेलरी सारे ट्रेड ब्लॉकचेन के अंदर आ जाएंगे, 4.5 ट्रिलियन तो अभी है हम लोग.
Well, absolutely. चेंजेस बहुत सारे आएंगे. पूरी इंडस्ट्री एक्सपेक्ट कर रही है कि जैसे ही न्यू गवर्नमेंट ओथ लेगी, फॉर्म हो जाएगी, दिस इज़ वन सेक्टर जो बहुत कुछ एक्सपेक्ट कर सकता है. एंड आई एम श्योर आप लोग जानते हैं, सुन भी रहे हैं, तैयार भी हो रहे हैं उसके लिए. जी, कोई और क्वेश्चन बैंकर्स के लिए, या आप कुछ कहना चाहते हैं इस इंडस्ट्री के लिहाज से? आप अपना एक पॉइंट यहाँ पर रखना चाहते हैं? जी.
The mic there. Please give the mic there. No?
प्लीज़ let's have this as a conversation. I'm sure आप सब यहाँ पर बहुत known names हैं. Let's talk this.
आशीष भाई.
Hello, hi. This is Vinit Rathod. Manisha ma'am, I had a figure posted by you from your Twitter account which said gold imports have increased from 1 billion to $3 billion for April. So is there any breakup where does this include the RBI purchase also, or is this the normal import that has happened in the month of April?
So this was inclusive of the RBI purchase as well, and these were Ministry of Commerce numbers which they do come out with end of every month and end of every quarter as well. तो उसमें सारा ब्रेकअप है, एंड नेक्स्ट टाइम मैं पूरा का पूरा ट्वीट करूँगी.
Thank you.
आशीष भाई.
So my questions to the bankers, जैसा कि हम सब देख रहे हैं कि डिजिटल पेमेंट का रेशियो बहुत बढ़ता जा रहा है, और अभी सुवनकर भाई ने जस्ट बताया, तो ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है कि अभी अगर आप रेशियो देखेंगे तो जितनी भी यंग जेन जी है वो क्रेडिट कार्ड से स्पेंड करना ज़्यादा प्रेफर करती है. और जब वो क्रेडिट कार्ड से स्पेंड करती है तो बैंक के पास पता नहीं क्या रीज़न होता है कि वो उसमें ज़्यादा चार्ज करने की बात होती है. कुछ ज्वेलर्स होते हैं जो कुछ फिक्स डिपॉजिट रख करके चार्जेस कम कर लेते हैं. डिजिटल पेमेंट को बढ़ावा देने के लिए, चूँकि जीजेसी भी बात कर रही है गवर्नमेंट से, कई बार फोरम में रखा, लेकिन बैंक उसमें बीच में क्यों आकर के जो है वो एक हर्डल डाल रही है कि हम डिजिटल पेमेंट में और चार्ज लेने वाले हैं. वो अगर कम हो जाएगा तो जो 25-30% हम कैश कंपोनेंट कह रहे हैं वो हम भी लेना मना कर देंगे और अपने आप सारा पैसा आपके खाते में आ जाएगा.
देखिए, आई विल ट्राई टू गेट इनटू एज मच एज पॉसिबल. Digital payment, when we talk, digital payment is a wider concept. It consists of number of modes of payment, including NEFT, RTGS, UPI, debit card and credit card. अब अगर हम पहले 3 इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स की बात करें तो उसमें बैंक कोई चार्ज नहीं लेती है. अगर वो NEFT है तो कोई चार्ज नहीं है, RTGS है तो कोई चार्ज नहीं है, बिकॉज ये सब इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स जो हैं वो सब बैंक टू बैंक एंड विद इन द रेगुलेटरी लोकल रेगुलेशंस के इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर यूज़ करके ये पेमेंट्स प्रोसेस होते हैं बैंक्स के बिटवीन द बैंक्स, पेइंग बैंक एंड रिसीविंग बैंक। हम डेबिट कार्ड और क्रेडिट कार्ड की जब बात करते हैं तो डेबिट कार्ड या क्रेडिट कार्ड में या तो वीज़ा रहेगा या मास्टर कार्ड रहेगा, एमएक्स रहेगा, डायनर्स रहेगा, सम ऑफ द इंटरमीडियरी एजेंसीज इन्वॉल्व। अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट आप देखेंगे डेबिट कार्ड में जनरली जो चार्जेस लगते हैं वो काफ़ी कम रहते हैं कंपेयर टू क्रेडिट कार्ड, क्योंकि जब क्रेडिट कार्ड का पॉइंट आता है तो क्रेडिट कार्ड में एक फाइनेंसिंग कॉस्ट भी लगती है बैंक की, जो कि वो और किसी तरीके से रिकवर नहीं कर सकती, तो सिर्फ जो ट्रांजैक्शन चार्ज है उससे बस रिकवर होता है वो चार्ज। ऑलमोस्ट आप देखिए क्रेडिट कार्ड में 45 दिन का फाइनेंस ऑन आउटर एंड होता है, वो कहीं ना कहीं से तो निकलेगा। और इसमें तीन काउंटर पार्टीज इन्वॉल्व हैं, एक पेमेंट रिसीविंग बैंक, एक पेमेंट गिविंग बैंक और एक मर्चेंट। तो ये तीन के इकोसिस्टम के अंदर से ही जो 1% जो चार्ज रहता है क्रेडिट कार्ड का, वो तीन लोगों के बीच में बट के जो बैंक फाइनेंस कर रहा है उसको इसका सबसे बड़ा पोर्शन मिलता है, और जो बैंक पेमेंट इनिशिएट कर रहा है उसको उसका सबसे कम पोर्शन मिलता है, और बीच का एक पोर्शन वीज़ा या मास्टर कार्ड को भी जाता है।
बेसिकली सबको कमाना है थोड़ा थोड़ा।
नहीं कमाने की बात नहीं, देयर इज कॉस्ट ऑफ फंड। आप एफडी रखें बैंक में, एफडी में इंटरेस्ट पे कर रही है, वही एफडी के पैसे को अगर हम फाइनेंस के रूप में जो मर्चेंट जो भी कस्टमर ने बाय किया है वो तो 45 दिन बाद पैसा देगा बैंक को उसका, तो 45 डेज ऑफ फंडिंग कॉस्ट इज इन्वॉल्व व्हेन अ क्रेडिट कार्ड इज स्वाइप्ड। तो उसमें एक पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट के बियॉन्ड इट वुडंट बी पॉसिबल फॉर एनीवन टू रियली गो बियॉन्ड।
इसमें क्या है सर कि अगर आप देखेंगे ना तो यूपीआई, मतलब आपने कह तो दिया कि यूपीआई में हम चार्ज नहीं लेते हैं, मतलब गवर्नमेंट नहीं लेती या बैंक नहीं लेती, 1 लाख के ऊपर की लिमिट नहीं है, सोने में 1 लाख रुपए में आता ही कुछ नहीं है।
आरटीजीएस,
तो आरटीजीएस आदमी बैठ के खरीदी कर, मतलब देर आर मेनी रिस्ट्रिक्शंस विच यू हैव द बैंक हैव पुट, उसके कारण उसको क्रेडिट कार्ड से पेमेंट करना पड़ता है। कई बार बोलते हैं कि अभी आज एड ऑन हुआ है, अब 24 घंटे तक से 50,000 ट्रांसफ़र होगा। अब वो उसको तो उसने तो खरीद लिया 2.5 लाख का जेवर, उसके खाते में 25 लाख पड़े, आप रिलीज़ नहीं करते हैं। तो ये कहीं ना कहीं जो पूरा रेगुलेशन है, उस रेगुलेशन को ज्वेलरी के लिए, आई डोंट नो ज्वेलरी के लिए, मैं तो ज्वेलरी के लिए बोलूँगा, बिकॉज बाकी जगह इतना बड़ा स्पेंड होता नहीं है। कार भी खरीदता है कोई 10 लाख की तो वो प्लानिंग कर लेता है। ज्वेलरी इम्पल्सिव बाइंग भी होती है, बहुत सारी ज्वेलरी इम्पल्सिव बाइंग होती है, वो उसने तुरंत पसंद करनी है और उसको खर्च करना है। उसने तो 3 लाख की ज्वेलरी पसंद करी, हमारा 2% और नीचे चला गया मार्जिन। तो पॉइंट ये है कि कहीं ना कहीं यूपीआई के स्ट्रक्चर में कहीं ना कहीं जो आप एड ऑन करते हैं, अच्छा दिस हैज़ ऑल्सो बीन सीन कि कुछ बैंक्स अपने मार्जिन्स में से सारा कुछ छोड़ देते क्रेडिट कार्ड में। वो ये कि बड़े ज्वेलर, बड़े प्लेयर और छोटे प्लेयर, कुछ लोग पूरा चार्ज करते हैं। कुछ ज्वेलर्स के साथ ऐसा है कि क्रेडिट कार्ड के 2% 2.5% भी ले रहे हैं। मतलब माय ज्वेलर फ्रेंड, कई फ्रेंड्स हैं जिनको 2% क्रेडिट कार्ड का लग रहा है, मेरा बैंक के साथ टर्म्स हुआ है तो मेरे को 0.50 ही लग रहा है। तो ये सब कहीं ना कहीं एक जो मार्जिन्स है ना, कि बैंक को कोई ना कोई तरीके से मार्जिन चाहिए, वो कम से कम अगर सेंट्रलाइज्ड हो जाए, वो सबके लिए एक तरीका हो जाए, तो मेरे ख्याल से ज्वेलर विल एंजॉय विद द बैंक्स। तो मतलब बैंक वाले हैं इसलिए मैंने ये बात सामने रखी।
हाँ आशीष जी, इसके लिए हमारे इसमें आज ही एक सेपरेट सेशन है जिसमें इन्हीं सब बातों के लिए डिस्कशन होगा। मेरे अभी कुमार साहब से बात हुई है, लेट अस डिस्कस इन दैट सेशन, दैट विल बेटर, है ना।
हाँ, if there's a question that has come in, let's get an answer out. Yeah.
ये आई थिंक मोर ऑफ अ कमर्शियल डिसीजन है एक्चुअली ऑन दिस पॉइंट। जो आप बोल रहे 2% और 0.5%, आई मे नॉट बी द राइट पर्सन। आई थिंक देयर आर टीम्स इन्वॉल्व इन अंडरस्टैंडिंग द क्रॉस सेल दैट यू हैव, द रिलेशनशिप टीम जो भी करते हैं आपके साथ। तो आपका अगर एक जगह ऑफसेट कर रहे हैं प्राइस, तो दूसरी जगह उनको कहीं से भरपाई हो रही होगी। एज एन ओवरऑल रिलेशनशिप वैल्यू कुछ बैंक्स देखती है, तो शायद इसीलिए वो डिफरेंस भी होगा 2% 0.5% जो आप बोल रहे हैं।
Okay. I think we can move on. Another, yes. We'll get the mic to you. 1 sec.
So to the bankers, as an exporter, Samba had said the blocking of the EBRC for the longest time. So then we are an exporter here, for which we realized that the blocking, the date that it was done to the date that it was now when you release it, the funding and the price difference is quite the risk to us. So why don't we have blockchain in the EBRC release? As you know, we are going to purchase export gold from the banks, right? From the bankers here. So to integrate the blockchain, you know that, okay, the export has been done. So to just streamline the process, if you integrated that, your EBSA release can get done in 10 days. So with that, the tracking can be done, and even we are not exposed to the risk of the price difference as compared to as what you also have your cost measures placed. So using the blockchain in your EBRC systems can also help you all in tracking and getting the done. As like there's a Sam Bhai, there is us, there are many other exporters here who want the EBRC margins to be released as soon as possible to make it use for working capital. So just a suggestion, if you do want to integrate it as of now, to give it to the local suppliers, at least for the exporters to get that release margin done. Because the strengthening is too much, the bandwidth increases to another level.
So I think yes, I understand the blockchain can be used for getting the efficiency in the system, so that your realization practically is done at, let's say, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and by 1 o'clock your margins are free. Certain banks are actually working on those things. What help we need from the customer is, I think, before I talk about the help from the customer, what I say is there has been recent change also in getting the EBRCs done. Earlier the bank used to develop it. I think now as a customer you can download it yourself.
We can do it ourselves.
A lot of system actually changes from the government side. Number two, so obviously we have to keep actually keeping that change in the mind. We have to make our systems. Blockchain, yes, definitely we are working on it if there can be, but if there is sudden change in the system of the government, we suddenly find ourselves helpless. It is not just BRC alone, we also have to look at your value addition. You may have received the funds, whatever you have mentioned, but have you really achieved that value addition? Depending upon the kind of jewelry that you export, there is certain minimum wastage and value addition that has to be done. So obviously there, I do not know how much of the blockchain can help. Because these are essentially papers which come in hard copy, and somebody actually has to go down and check at the back office, if the parameters have met, the value addition is normal, and yes, the BRC, the export realization amount is actually the correct amount you should be charging from the customer. So having said which, I think still there are banks who do it, do release margin in 2 days. There are banks who do it in 1 day. The banks who do it in the same day. But yes, definitely we take this as a feedback.
But Kumar, there is a lot of pressure which is there in the exporters regarding this.
I think
and previously the site used to not work for 15-20 days.
Correct, yeah.
And then it used to work for 1 day, and then again the site is closed for 15 days.
So it is a reliance we also have on the government systems.
Stuck in the bank.
Correct.
It is not of the government, it is not of the bank, it is only of the poor exporter.
For the bankers, EBRC का blockage, TDS timely payment, GST में भी लोग क्या करते हैं, कभी-कभी GST देना पड़ता है, जितना ना प्रॉफिट है उससे ज़्यादा उन लोगों को GST भरना पड़ रहा है, करेक्ट? सो ये जो फंड रिक्वायरमेंट होते हैं, the bank can take it as a product and say a liquidity, short term liquidity to the jewelers कि ताकि उनका business चलता रहे.
One more thing, Kumar bhai, do you think that anything we should go with to the government, to the customs, to the indirect taxes at Delhi, कि these 3 things has to be passed, which will make the life simpler for us?
I think.
So do you think that we should work in that lines with the
I would rather
government?
say the industry people like
Some
you
points.
are in a better position to tell what your problems are to the government, so that the rules come in. We as a bank are aligned to what the regulation expects us to do, right?
I mean, we've basically, extended our time onto this one. But before we wrap this up, I just want to come to both these bankers and understand from you, if there were top 3 advices that you would want to give to our jewelers, what would that be? Manish, you want to go first?
See,
we are building a relationship here, so we are becoming partners here.
We are partners. See, the industry is already doing wonderful. As Nitinji mentioned, that few more regulations are expected. So be geared up, be on top of it, and be compliant.
Manish, I can't say what we are expecting, but are you at the liberty of telling them what can be expected?
No,
Okay.
that's why I mentioned Nitin's. Difficult because.
Okay, so what would you tell? What would you tell them?
I would say that. As much as credit is important, equally important is I would say compliance, more now as we are moving forward, more from AML point of view. So credit and AML, these 2 things, be very, very mindful of cash flows, whatever limits you're using of the banks, let it not go into any kind of overutilization or non-timely payment of interest or anything. So just be compliant and the things are already changing. The things have changed. It will only get better from here.
Kumar.
So I'll also add to, or rather be having a similar view. One is you be compliant. Make sure when you're taking bank funding, please do not use it for any diversion. I mean, you use it for your working capital. The reason that you have mentioned, because certain times banks give you a working capital term loan. Sometimes it is a term loan. So please use the funds for the purpose that you've required it for. Compliance is what I said. I think these are the two broad parameters which has a lot of things to do for the customers. Be as transparent as possible with the banks. I think they will only be your help and guidance for you to further take a leap in terms of getting more limits or expanding your business.
Sure.
So I think transparency is one more thing that I would rather say.
So Vankar, you want to add something to
So
this?
see, what I would like to guide everyone and maybe speak from their side only, the credit rating is very critical. So we all have to work towards improving our credit rating. So maybe we pay taxes, show profits. Profits अच्छा होगा तो equity base बढ़ेगा. Equity जैसे बढ़ेगा, the banks gets more confidence that the ability to pay for their interest goes up and वो debt equity ratio सही रहेगा. So उस हिसाब से if we really look at it, so that is the beginning of the journey जहाँ पे हम लोग धीरे धीरे profits बढ़ाए और taxes बढ़ाए. So government भी खुश, banks भी खुश and business के लिए liquidity आता रहेगा. So that is one part of it. And banks लोगों का cash pickup mechanisms है. So जितना उनके साथ partnership में काम करे, I think that they will only come, their people come, picks up cash and all of that. So it's all in the books. So they will these all gives confidence to them as a banker. And finally, I just want to, looking at you, I'm thinking of a product for the banks which will help the industry also, कि working women लोगों के लिए कुछ special loans दिया जाए जिससे वो ज्वेलरी और खरीद पाए, तो banks के लिए भी business बढ़ेंगे और ज्वेलरी का इंडिया का साथ भी ये होगा. तो ऐसे
ऐसा कुछ है?
I think इन्होंने ज़्यादा study किया तो नहीं होगा शायद, but then there is. So yes, again one more takeaway, but I think there are certain, I'm not sure, but FD rates, I think this should be extended. Women loans पे भी तो कम है. I do not know specifically for jewelry. Yeah.
पर मुझे ज्वेलरी खरीदने के लिए ही चाहिए.
हाँ. और अगर ज्वेलरी नहीं, फिर दूसरी इंडस्ट्री आ जाएगी खाली ज्वेलरी के दिया, तो I don't know where the banks will get there.
Personal loans for women.
I think that is there already.
All right. Thank you so much, panelists. Thank you, bankers, as well, for participating in, and clearly a great relationship building here. And we're hoping next year when we meet, we do understand कि अब जो हमने बात करी है, अब हम next year उसमें से कहाँ पहुँचते. So I think I'm going to be keeping an eye on that. Thank you.
GJC is intending to do this event every year in May. So in the coming, whoever हमारे जितने भी committees आ रही हैं, हमारे राजेश भाई यहाँ बैठे हैं. So I think we are doing this, Rajesh bhai, every year, for the next 3-4 years की dates जैसे हम exhibition के लिए करते हैं, आप इसके लिए भी announce कर दीजिएगा.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's put our hands together for the entire panel. That's been an absolutely riveting panel discussion to kickstart this Gem and Jewelry Banking Summit. And we'd like to thank all the panelists. We'd like to present mementos to each of them. I'll request Mr. Sripal Dholakia, Joint Convener Banking, and Mr. Rajesh Rokde, Vice Chairman GJC, to kindly come up on stage and do the honors. Mementos to Mr. Manish Goel, to Mr. Sayyam Mehra, Mr. Sayyam Mehra, Mr. Sachin Jain, Mr. Ravi Prakash Agarwal, Mr. Suvankar Sen, Mr. Kumar Parmani, and our most distinguished moderator, Ms. Manisha Gupta. Can we now have a nice group photograph with all our dignitaries on stage? As we say thank you to Mr. Manish Goyal, Mr. Sayyam Mehra, Mr. Sachin Jain, Mr. Ravi Prakash Agarwal, Mr. Suvankar Sen, Mr. Kumar Parmani and Ms. Manisha Gupta. And thank you very much to Mr. Sripal Dholakia and Mr. Rajesh Rokde for doing the honors. Thank you so much. We move directly into our next session, which will put the spotlight on understanding the financial tools to the jewelry industry. Ladies and gentlemen, requesting all of you to kindly stay in your seats because we're going to